What's our topics today? We didn't even go over this.
Go check on the back.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
REC?
It's going?
Yep.
It's alright. Polisher's Corner.
You know, for the people that are listening audio, aren't going to be able to see that at all.
Like, why isn't Zach talking? Nah, he was advertising.
He's advertising Northern Chill Water.
I thought
to
it
you
was
by that
a
cold
picture. I
chill.
thought we were doing a delayed picture.
Keeping you hydrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, created by glaciers, perfected by nature. Northern Chill.
So this is a little bit different setup. We for years have just sat around ribbing each other and talking shit, and figured what better way to do it than to do it with other people listening to it, I guess.
Do it for the public.
So I guess we're just gonna start it off just open forum style, and we end up in just random tangents all the time. Since it's on video and audio, we probably won't be able to get it done.
How much car time you got? How big a card is that?
But yeah, wherever it ends up, it ends up. But this is Polisher's Corner episode something, second season. But this is going to be just us talking like we do in the shop, I guess. And we'll see if anybody
second
actually.
season? I
Yeah.
didn't even renew my contract. I didn't even get paid for the first
You
season.
didn't sign up for the auto renew. It went to hit your card, but it declined.
It declined on your card. It was going to be a $30 overdraft.
It's like the old OF membership over here.
That was struck too close to home.
Yeah.
It's like,
After he said it, he knew. I was like, God damn.
He's right. I hate it
hey,
when
we've all been there, okay?
I overdrafted today myself. I'm just kidding, I didn't.
That makes it feel better, right? Just kidding, that didn't happen.
So I'm gonna apologize ahead of time because I'm sure the stories are gonna be interesting by the end
Yeah,
of
I'm
the
glad
day.
to apologize for that right away. Need a good mood here for this? Started that
Yeah,
off right.
I'm great.
It only gets worse from here, I'm sure. But I'm gonna preface this with for those of you that haven't listened to all the other podcasts, we got Zach down on the end. Evans Publishing, Nebraska. We got Blake from Woody's. I'm not gonna say it. We got Keenan from Evans Detailing, Colorado, currently in-house here, shop manager. I met Zach and Keenan Tulsa 2018? 2017.
Many moons. Many sleeps ago.
Many sleeps ago. It's Indian.
It's Indian.
Native.
And it's native,
They were young in the scene, fresh in the scene.
I was like,
Yeah.
our first
We'd
month
never
in
ever
the
been
scene.
to a show.
Yeah, that was our first day in the scene,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, it was wild.
But you guys were only at polishing not too long before that.
I'd been in it for a little bit longer. He was
I was there for a month.
really new. Yeah.
And literally just got slammed into the mega scene.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Straight into Shell Rotel that year that I sponsored and just needed as much help as I could get.
His first thing to ever polish was a tank. Ever.
It was. First day on the job, they're like,
Yeah.
all right, do this tank. Like,
All right.
okay, tell me what to do. Well, we just figured it
And
out.
he's like, here's a buffer. I ain't showing you anything else.
Yeah.
Figure it
Pretty
out.
much.
Pretty much. Actually, that's exactly how it went. That's not
It's the
even...
Zach Cambron School of Polishing.
It is.
We had like
He's
8 of
grinding.
us on that job that day. Like everybody's doing like one piece.
Yeah, and it still took us like a day to do
Yeah.
it one
That
truck.
day, and then you and Parker and Bodie finished the next one.
Yeah, that was a good time. That's when we were making real money.
Did you make a lot of Pac-Mans?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
using all kinds of undiscovered patterns back then.
Hey, the Pac-Man pattern now has been pulled up since 85 bucks.
It's still like I read it like 10 times last night. I'm like, I don't get it. Did I miss a movie reference?
No, I just said it. Like,
It was funny.
That's how my brain works.
For those of you that are listening to the podcast, Zach is just drinking water and promoting as much as he possibly can.
I don't even know who these guys are. They're really good water, though.
They'll have somebody at the show this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, one of the girls is going to come out to the show.
Wow.
It'd be great. They're great people. The owners are super nice.
Great pH.
Yes, natural electrolytes. Same stuff that's in your.
This stuff works good, honestly. And you guys are going to laugh and think it's stupid, but everyone who knows me, I don't wear a mask. And I smoke like a chimney. So I get really bad, what's it called? Acid reflux all the time. And like if I drink cheap water, because anyone who knows that, I don't pay for anything expensive. This stuff has actually been a savior this whole week I've been here. It's been great.
Yeah.
I haven't had to.
So let's talk about your nuts being super tight and not spending a ton of money.
What about it, I guess?
Your hotel choices?
Yeah.
Where did it all start?
Where did it all start?
Where did that start? What
You know,
started that?
that's a crazy question because I was never really that way until I got into polishing. I don't know. I was never really that way. And then once I hit I think kids too, because that's about when I had kids.
Yeah.
And then it like completely changed. I decided not to spend any money on anything.
Mine went the opposite way when I had kids.
Really?
I just started buying them everything.
Yeah.
I wanted them to have everything.
That's true. Yeah. That's why they have a mom. That's what I always tell her. I was like, these boys are lucky they got a mother like you, because otherwise we'd be shopping at Walmart. But yeah, Dollar General. Yeah. No, but in the polishing world, what they're referencing to is my choice of hotels. Keenan lived it.
It did.
Yeah, I would. What we do is we have it's actually a pretty sweet little setup. So I get on Google. Obviously, the night we need a hotel because I don't plan anything ahead.
Yeah, usually like
No.
10 minutes in advance.
Yeah, so it's like right when we get off the job at like 11, 12 o'clock at night, I'm searching for a motel. And I pick the cheapest one or two that are around. And then I have everyone get on the phone and we call them. And then we try to Zoom down even further. And then we always use the same excuse. Parker and I are golden at it. Like, all right, well, I need to talk to my brother. We're just heading into town. And we'll need a place to sleep. And let me talk to my brother, get back to you. And then we'll write everything down. And then we'll pick the cheapest one. It doesn't even have to be the best quality. It's just the cheapest one. That's really how it goes. I'd say, yeah, we were in, kind of get off on a side note on that, on crazy stories. We were down in Joplin. Gosh dang it, what was that? Had been 3 years ago now, huh?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the year. Yeah, that was 17.
No, not that year.
Oh.
That was a different year. We actually didn't even make it to a motel because we got kicked out of a motel.
Yeah.
That year with Keenan. And so then we were sleeping in the Suburban. Yeah. And then, well, because everything was booked, and then the motel that we actually had access to, another polisher, it wasn't even our fault, decided to write penis in black on the door, and I guess they didn't appreciate
They
that.
frowned on
I
that,
guess I didn't appreciate
And
that.
they,
It was a nice call.
yeah, they threatened to sue me because they had to repaint the door, and it cost like $250, and then I proceeded to tell them that I'm in the wrong business, that I'll just paint all their doors for them from now on, because that's a better making money deal than polishing. No, but yeah, that's a whole different time too. But no, the story I was getting at, so it's just Parker and I. Yeah, I believe it's just Parker and I. We were down in Joplin, and for those who've been to Joplin show, once you get back in the city from the show, if you pull off the interstate there's a real bad looking crackhead motel that sits off over there. And so I'm like, definitely.
We need to preface this with you guys aren't crackheads.
No, not at all. You know, these guys make fun of me. That's a whole nother side note. These guys make fun of me. I've never been robbed. We've never had anything stolen, nothing.
But we're going to get a call someday.
Ever. Never.
They found Zach.
In a motel
Stabbed
room.
and drug out.
Yeah. No, we and so one morning we had to get up. We actually had to go do work for True Novosad that morning. We had to go do some trailer wheels. This driver was taking off. And so we go to leave, and there's this chick who'd been sitting outside the motel prior to that, the few days we were there already. And it's kind of a sad story. It's not funny, but I don't know how to explain this. But we go to leave, and she is just a mess. Like, someone had beat the hell out of her and all this other stuff. And we stopped and asked if she was all right. And she was waiting for the guy to come back so they could be together again because they got into a fight. And it's just mind blowing the stuff that we get to see. You know, where this chick has just been shit beat out of her, and then she's just waiting for him to come back because it's all going to be fine. In that same motel, we watched a guy for an hour and a half tear apart his dash and then reassemble it. The rooms are very nice, though. It's the same motel, though, that I needed an extra pillow, and they told me just to take my blankets and bunch them up and then use that as an extra pillow because they didn't have any extra pillows, I guess. So, yeah, that was a good choice. It's like $59 a night, so you can't beat that at all.
Not that I have anything against the price. Just, I don't want to have to wonder if I'm going to get shanked at night.
You know what, though, and you say that, the only one we ever got worried at, that we're seriously worried, and we stay in a really bad one in Springfield. We're talking, it's bad. We're talking drug dealing and prostitution, and I mean, you see it. It's right there. It's no big deal. No one cares.
I literally have heard stories of you telling me about how you stayed awake while Parker
That's
slept.
what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. The only one that I was ever worried. We were going down to Springfield to go do some work, and the alternator went out, and it was in Hiawatha, Kansas, right off 36. And there's two choices. And obviously the one choice I could already tell, I didn't even have to call. I knew that one was expensive. It's right off the interstate and it was like brand new. So then we went to the second one. Well, we get there and none of the lights are on in the office, but if you've dealt with this ring of cheap motels, you understand that they're never open ever anyways. But I mean, they're open, but they're never there because of tweakers that run the joint. But so I got Parker to get out. And he goes up to the glass, and then it said, like, it had an arrow that just kept pointing down. I can't make this up. Like, they didn't say, like, go to room 205, that's where the manager is. No, it just had arrows. And then on the last door where they were staying, it said, stop. And so I can see him. I'm watching him. He's knocking on the door. And this lady comes out, hammered drunk. And Parker's like, you guys got any available rooms? And she's like, you got $50? Parker's like, yeah. She's like, all right, well, let me go get a key. So she goes and gets the key. We get out, and we kind of explained to her what's going on in this whole process. And she was asking why we were there, like she cared. And, well, I think what it was, I took the battery, because we carry a battery tender with us. And I took the battery out of the Suburban so I could go charge it in the room. That way in the morning we could make it somewhere. It's like, this is rough. Like, it just even sounds bad. So, and she's watching me do this. So she's trying to figure out, I think that's where the conversation started. So I explained to her what happened. And obviously nothing was open. Luckily, I did have the tender so I could actually drive somewhere tomorrow morning. The next morning, go buy an alternator. And
I thought you were talking about like a D-Walt battery.
No. We're talking car battery, dude. And we get down.
I told you, Blake, you weren't ready for this.
No,
We get down to the room,
This
and
is just a tip.
I'm hooking up this battery in the freaking room to charge it. And the rooms were actually extremely nice. They were redoing all of them. And Parker goes, "Can we smoke in these rooms?" She's like, "I don't give a shit." I'm like, all right. So we're smoking in the rooms, brand new room. I kind of felt bad about the deal, but obviously the manager didn't care. So what do I care? And we paid cash. Well, then she leaves, and she comes back about 10 minutes later and knocks on the door. And so Parker opens the door up, and she's standing there, and she goes, "How long will that battery hold charge?" And I'm like, I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, just to get me somewhere. Well, you think you would hold enough charge? The liquor store is 4 blocks away, and I'm just wondering if you could take me down there, because I don't want to drive. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. So
This is what I'm talking about.
this is serious. This is real. I'm not making any of this
Your
up.
level of generosity
Yeah.
knows no bounds.
Yeah, so then, and she has a beard too. It's crazy. Like the one I got now. I mean, I know the viewers listen to this stuff, and they can't see this. And I told Parker he's going to have to take one for the team if she never left. And he's like, no way. But anyway, so I go unhooking his battery. I'm going to go put it back in the Suburban so we can take this drunk lady to the liquor store so she could buy more liquor. Well, luckily, it was closed already. And I'm like, thank God. Well, then she leaves again. Next thing you know, it's like 10 minutes later, knocking on the door. Open the door up. And then she comes in and shuts the door behind her. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. and she goes, "You guys don't have any beer, do you?" And we didn't. I don't drink, and like no, and she asked us for other things too. We didn't have that either. So finally, she goes to leave again. She's like, "All right, I'll let you guys get some sleep or whatever." Well, in the mix of that, I could see through the window. There was like 3 guys behind her, and super tweakers, and I could see through the blinds, kind of where the bed was. I could see through the blinds, and I watched her walk out, and she was talking to all 3 of them. And she walked away, and they sat out there and there was no vehicle or nothing right out in front of our room. And they sat out there for a little while. Well, Parker was taking a shower. I don't know why. We hadn't worked. And he came back.
Some people shower even though they don't work, Zach.
Yeah, I know. But
Just need to clarify that.
yeah, he came back, and that's the only place I felt really uneasy because I could still see him out there. And I told him, I go, "Here's the deal. I go, I'm not going to go to sleep tonight. I'm just going to stay awake, watch TV because I don't trust these guys at all. And you sleep." So he did. And I go, "In the morning time, we're going to leave as early as we can, right when O'Reilly's opens, and go get an alternator." That's another story I'll get into too. This one even gets even better too. So, and they never did anything, which is crazy because I really thought they were going to try something. I mean, it didn't look like we had money, but we obviously had more money than anyone else there.
It was literally just a Walking Dead. Like
I mean, they knew something, but they never robbed us or nothing, and never messed with us anymore that night, which was a blessing because at that time, obviously, we weren't carrying guns or anything. You know, we didn't have no protection. I mean, if they would have came in, we would have been done. And so the next morning, I woke Parker up around 5:30, I think.
I just refuse to stay in places like this. I'm sorry.
It's fun. It makes life interesting.
That does not sound in any way, shape, or form.
That one was a little rough. And weirdly enough, some of the places, like I said, the one we stayed in Springfield, there's literally, I mean, drug dealing going on right there. Prostitutions are up on the 2nd story. And you can see it. I mean, it's the craziest thing. You know, living in a small town, Nebraska, we don't see that stuff. And when we go there, it's
I don't
wild.
see that here either.
And the one in Joplin too, it had flooded at one time. You can tell because the floor is wood and it's like this, so it's like wavy.
Just wavy.
Yeah, it's like waves. You know, because obviously the wood had came up. You know, where it swelled. That's a good place. But anyways, that one's like $45 a night, so you know it's really good.
Did it come with a water bill?
No.
I'm sorry, but I wrap the cost of all of my wherever I gotta stay. I'm not staying in a 5-star place, so I'm not sticking it to a customer. I'm not staying in a $45 place where I gotta have somebody watch the door.
Yeah. Well, so I wake Parker up the next day. The story gets even really good. This is where my Jewish side comes out. So we get the battery back in, start the Suburban up, and I call O'Reilly's and ask them how much an alternator was, and it was probably like $100 and some bucks. And I'm like, we can't afford that. I was like, I bet you there's a junkyard around here. So then I get on the horn and, oh yeah, sure as crap there is. There's a junkyard south of town, right over the interstate. I call that guy and I was like, hey, I got a 2001 Suburban. I need an alternator. He's like, yeah, come out. I got a pickup. I guarantee there's one out there. So we had to drive all the way out to this guy's junkyard, and then we get out there and
Can I plug my battery in just in case I need
no,
to
we really
out?
did. We really did. We had to plug the tender in out of this place. I mean, this place was rough. It's like this super crappy building, and like it was rough, man. I didn't even know he had power. I didn't even think he'd have power out there, but he did. And we plug it in, and we go out there, and we're taking this alternator off, and then we gave him the old one because he wanted that as a core because he has them rebuilt, I guess. And he's like, if you boys need anything else, let me know. And he was a nice guy. You know, it's crazy, though. It seems like a sketchy deal. Like, it's really, really sketchy. I mean, this guy looked like a serial killer. But honestly, I mean, I think I would have had dinner with him, honestly. I mean, he was a super sweet guy.
Yeah, he'd wear skin as a sea.
He would have probably. Another head eating down there. Yeah, Jesus. But yeah, we ended up getting an alternator. Shoot, we drove that for the next year and a half with that same alternator we bought out of the junkyard. worked great. Never had an issue after that. God, I could go for days on that stuff, man. Some of the crazy stuff we did. Never really anything bad.
Happy endings.
No, but I mean, crazy stuff like we never did anything super bad, but like I think the worst there was when Parker, call him Ed, everybody knows Parker. He when about got a attempted murder down in Texas because you were there. He threw all the change off the 10th story.
I saw
Yeah.
nothing.
Nope. I wasn't.
I mean, those are all allegations, but
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Heard from a friend.
Yeah, I mean,
Allegedly, he tried to throw some pennies into the fountain.
yeah, and it was like 100 feet in the air.
The wind.
Yeah.
We've been told the
Yeah.
wind makes it impossible to happen.
And supposedly, if you throw a whole handful, you have better odds. I thought the deal was 1, not 100.
When he tried 2 of verse 1 and then 1, then just
and then
all.
a whole handful just
Just
comes
rain it.
flying off
Bring the rain.
the deal.
Literally.
I mean, we weren't there, but we heard about it.
Yeah.
As it turns out, I've heard security's
Yeah.
pretty efficient
Yeah.
in that department too.
My
Yeah.
cousin told me. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
My cousin told me the cops were
No,
right.
some other truck drivers have told us that people have tried this in the past.
Yeah, and if I was there, I would have just taken off running
Yeah,
once
for
everyone
sure.
showed up and
I
left
definitely-
everyone behind.
I definitely would not have stuck around for that either.
No. I would not have called in
I would
location.
have never had a trucker run a scooter for me, and then after almost an attempted murder charge, get pulled over right in front of the building. It just happened
For driving.
for driving down the sidewalk.
Sidewalk, yeah, because you have to drive those on the
Yeah,
street.
he had to drive them on the street supposedly. All
Yeah,
right,
he was sweating
Yes,
that
all right.
day, too.
Oh my
Convinced he was
lord!
going to get DUI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get on the street.
Oh
That was rough.
lord!
He tried to kick that Jingus there.
Yeah,
Oh,
karate
God.
kicked a Jenga deal. Those are allegations
That was
too.
a wild night, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that would happen. I mean, that one.
Yeah,
I
that
saw.
one did. That's not an incriminating charge, but yeah, that one happened. Man, Lord, even when Keenan was there, we did some wild stuff.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we never did anything super bad, trouble. That was
never
about the
really
most.
broke the law.
No, besides that, and I mean, no one got hurt.
And even then, like,
and there was no one around. I mean, if
Well,
it
the
did
lady-
happen,
the
we
lady
would have
that
made
called
sure
it,
no one was
yeah.
around
Yeah.
to get hurt or anything.
wasn't like we were chucking them at people.
No,
Allegedly.
I mean,
We
lady allegedly called it in, but
yeah.
she's
Allegedly, they have a lot of security at one hotel that I've
They
never
do.
seen before in my whole entire life. That would have been a sight to see, like 20 security guards filing out
Yeah.
on every floor.
on different floors. Yeah, it would have been crazy.
That would have been wild to see, actually. Oh man. No, but
It's almost like they had headquarters on each floor.
yeah, it's pretty nuts. But no, I mean we do a lot of crazy stuff, but you kind of got to break it up, because you get in this.
Otherwise, it's just all work.
And it's
It is.
monotonous, man. It's the same thing over and over again. Don't get me wrong. I feel so blessed. You let us do. We're in the show world and we get to do all that stuff. But
42 hours, no sleep.
Yeah. and you get into show season when prior to COVID, when it's every other. I mean, it's just
It
bam,
was
bam,
one
bam,
a
bam,
month.
bam. Yeah,
I
One a
had
month.
17. You and I did like 6.
yeah, and 6 doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're trying to juggle 6 states.
What wife? What
Yeah,
kids?
yeah,
right.
you're juggling 6 states you're taking care of,
Yeah, what work?
plus traveling.
Yeah.
Gone for 7 to 10 days each one.
Yeah, and you kind of got to do that stuff, which, like I said, you don't have to get in major trouble. We never did.
A lot of sleepless nights.
A lot of sleepless nights. A
Falling
lot of
asleep at a casino table.
casino table. Yeah, falling asleep at a casino table.
A couple times.
And
Showing up
they
late,
just,
getting yelled at.
yeah,
That's true.
you just,
Hey, we weren't the king of the jungle there, all right?
yeah, yeah, with no one around, everyone
Yeah.
else was shut down.
It was
besides
important that
us.
booth stayed open.
Yeah.
We're the last one remaining.
Yeah, we had to be there. God forbid if we told a customer how to use the product of any kind,
no,
but
that's not how we did it.
that's not how we did things back then. So couldn't sell them anything either, but that's beside the point too.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
That's
We could escort him.
Had
Yeah.
to escort him in.
yeah, I had to walk them a half mile to buy something.
Yeah, no thanks.
It was like 7,000 degrees.
Yeah.
The heat index was at least 9.
That location in particular
It's
was
horrid.
never awesome.
No.
That was one of my least favorite shows.
In a giant
I've
circus
never been
tent.
back to that show ever,
Me neither.
and it's very close to me. Probably one of the closest.
You know, I bought a very particular item for my shop from that place, and I have no interest in going back ever again. I mean, maybe once when I retire, I'll take it as in the classic division just to say I went to the show with it sometime, but honestly, I have no ambition to going back to that place. It rains like hell at least one day. That parking lot floods.
Oh yeah.
And it's always 2,000 degrees at that parking lot. Always.
They have a giant circus tent.
Yeah.
So you can hang out with all the performers in there.
And everybody can sit and melt. No, thank you. I'm over that place. I have no interest in going to that place ever again.
Yeah.
The crowds aren't great.
No.
The people are interesting.
It is.
The people are
I saw a
very
baby with a mullet.
Yeah.
In a stroller.
Yeah. Yep.
I really did. I took a picture of it, actually.
I believe that. I believe that a lot.
Yeah. No, but I mean, we've been so blessed. I talk about it all the time, you know, how blessed we've been. The last couple of years have sucked really bad for us. You know, we say we despise show season because of how much work it is, but at the same time, it's kind of weird when spring rolls around. It's like, you know, we're hitting Louisville. We're, you know what I mean? We're going to Florida. We're going here. We're going there. And the whole time, and we bitch about it all summer, like, oh my God, we're going to be so far behind now. And we're never going to get caught back up. I wish we didn't have to go to so many shows, but we still go anyways. It's not like we have.
It's like winter, we forget.
February rolls around, you're like, man, it'll be cool some truck shows.
That'd be great. It'd just be great to see the guys.
Yeah. It is great to see
and then
the
you
guys.
justify in your head, you're like, oh, it's just like a vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, vacation,
really
you work
work
100 hours in 2 days.
I love that. You talk to people that don't do shows. They're like, you guys are so lucky. Like, kind of, not really.
We are in a sense. You know,
we are.
And, but in another serious educational note to new polishers on the whole show thing and all that you see this glorious life that you see on Instagram and all that. I'm not complaining about it, but it's not as glorious as you think it is.
Learn to take horse showers.
Yeah, you got.
I mean, we showered at a truck stop. Where was that? That was the same show, wasn't
Joplin.
it? Oh yeah, we had to pay for a shower.
It's like $15 or something like that. Yeah, I remember that.
He didn't want to save money. You can get the couples rate, but
I'm actually surprised he didn't.
For what it's worth, I wasn't buying in on that option either. The lady at the desk was like, you guys can get a team shower rate for like $5 more. I'm like,
team shower rate.
We'll get two. It's fine.
I forgot about that too.
Team shower. I'm going to start team showering you too.
Well, for what it's worth, we didn't have time to shower at the hotel because we were at the casino late and we slept in.
Yeah.
So
I blame Evan for that, actually. My very first show, going back to where we met, Tulsa.
That's true.
I'd never said, I love to gamble, but I'd never been to a freaking casino. And of course, we're in Tulsa, and they're like, oh, we're going to go to the Hard Rock. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never been to a casino.
I was trying to be nice.
I know, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
It was too nice.
But what ended up happening is we won a shit pot of money the whole time we were there. So I was like, oh my God.
3 nights in a row even.
I'm going to be a gambler for the rest of my life. Like, I don't even need to polish anymore. I'm just going to play blackjack. And I'm going to win at least $200 to $500 a night and never have to do anything again. That's not what happens in the real world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Listen, if I could take blame for you guys having fun 3 nights in a row, I'm okay with that.
Hey, we had a blast.
Because we had a blast.
We did.
It was fun.
For what it's worth.
We did. Even Ed had a blast, and he said he was broke.
Listen, Ed barely survived Tulsa.
He made friends.
He did. He made a lot of friends. That's
I don't think Ed's met another polisher that could survive Tulsa.
I get Tulsa.
That's always. We're actually going to make shirts. That Tulsa trip was a rough.
You know what? Text me that right now while we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I need to make that shirt.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sick.
Hashtag you'd never survive Tulsa.
And it's the truth. And going back to, okay, so think if you would have saw the pictures of Tulsa, it was so glorified, like we had the time of our lives, which we did. I'm not saying it was a bad time. The part you didn't see is that we slept for like 4 hours in
3 days?
Yeah.
4 days?
I was thinking like 6 days.
It might have even been.
I don't know. It just all started blending together.
It was like an hour a
I
night.
think it was 6 days because we came down on Sunday.
Yeah, it was like about an hour a night. It was
we
nuts.
went over to J&L Sunday night and we went to the show Monday.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, we literally napped.
We stayed till Sunday. Yeah.
When we were at J&L's that night, I told you guys, I'm like, listen, I'm buying you guys a bed for the night.
Not such a waste of money.
Yeah, we slept for like 20 minutes.
You guys are like, listen, we just sleep in the truck. I'm like, no, listen, we all need a shower.
Yeah.
Like a good shower. And we could just get a 30-minute nap in a bed and we'll be fine.
What else did you say?
Yeah. Does anyone else remember what he said? When we hit Joplin,
we can nap when we get there.
well, we can sleep when we get there
I'll
to
check
the
you into the
hotel.
room. We
We'll
don't have
check in.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't have to. Yep.
So yeah, you guys all went to sleep. I went and hung out with the Canadians because we didn't really have a huge, great relationship with those guys, and you
There
guys,
is no relationship in the world worth that.
you guys know me. I'm a marketer. Like,
Oh
I like-
yeah.
and I like hanging out with people, and I like building lifelong relationships with people. And I was like, yeah, I'll go out with everybody. I don't get an opportunity to
You
hang
got
out.
a pretty good relationship with two of them. You knew them pretty well.
Yeah, but I'd never really actually hung out with them. I mean, I talked to them before, but I never really like went out with them and hung out and
They were
went
there.
out for another 6 hours.
They were there all week. Yeah, we were at 42 hours. You were at 48.
Yeah, that was nuts.
I was literally falling asleep in the van.
Yeah, same.
Oh Lord, that was terrible.
When I finally got back and
Whataburger
showered,
next morning. So it was
We
all
did
right.
what?
We got Whataburger next morning, so it was all right.
We did.
Yeah, because he left us. Remember, it was me, you, and Tim and Parker. Because Evan left early that morning, so we went. Tim drove us to the show. And we stopped and got hamburgers.
I got up
I
and you
don't
guys were
remember
still
any of
sleeping.
that.
I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to the show and get wiped down real quick.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, that's
that at
fine. You
all.
can do that every time.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't
That's
even
another
do that.
thing. This is they call it Hell Week here for Waupun, and what people don't understand, it's midnight right now. We've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning.
6, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's gotta be. Yeah, that's exactly midnight actually.
yeah, don't worry
Big
about it
man over
because
here.
we have 5 trucks to do tomorrow as well, so that'll be nice.
Well, 4 for sure.
Oh, okay.
5 maybe. Plus we got to park trucks.
3
out
if we're
in
lucky. 2 if we're lucky. There's only 2 here.
Well, Gary messaged me. He will not be missing tomorrow morning. He will never miss that ever again.
His
It's just
isn't bad.
tank a box and
Yeah, his isn't bad. So it's 3 if we're lucky.
yeah.
It's the only day of the week I call for cancellations.
Well, 2 of them are here, so that's for sure.
That's what I mean. 2 cancellations, 3 trucks, call it a day.
Well, I don't know if the one's gonna be.
Except it's truck show week, so we won't call it a day. Because after
No.
we're done, we'll have to go to the truck show
Yep.
and park everybody.
Yep. Clock wheels, clock tires.
No,
No, we don't have to clock
today.
tires because we do that
do
after the
that
parade.
tomorrow.
Well, we can do it after the parade too, can't we?
Yeah, we don't need to set up a booth or nothing until Friday.
I remember one year, it was like 2 years ago, you remember that? We went over and we're like, why are we clocking tires on Thursday night? Because they're going to leave. We have to clock the tires. So we were there till like
That's
2
one
in the
thing
morning.
people don't understand is how
I hate not having clock tires.
No,
I don't know why.
And everybody left Friday, so then we got to stay till 2 o'clock on Friday to
Yeah.
clock the same tires.
That's right. Because Voight was like, I gotta do the parade. And I'm
Because
like,
there was
all
Kevin
right.
and Randy and all those guys.
That's
lived there.
right.
And we had to clock like 58 tires on Randy Manning's truck.
Yeah.
Remember the next year after that, or was that last year? Was that last year? Was Sam Cody up here last year? No, the year before.
The year before.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Last year you just helped me judge.
Yeah, we were clocking tires, and Parker was underneath his car trailer, and the freaking jack shot out, and hit him in the head. Yeah, that was a bad deal. He lived through it though.
Did Tim chill that year?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
That year he won.
Yeah.
So it would have been longer than that. Because 2 years ago was Waupun I missed, and then one he won I was there for. That was the same year that we were clocking tires. We did Randy Manning's because he won and Tim won. Randy won the best show lights and Tim won best show overall.
Nuts, man. It's and that's another thing, in the polishing world. I know I've said it before on the other podcasts, and I know this guy said it 100 times. Evan actually said it earlier in Woody's podcast. This stuff will own your life.
Mhm.
If you really want to do this and do the show thing, when I first ever saw Evan, I remember I've said this story a billion times. A kid told me about him. He's another polisher, and he's like, "There's this guy out of Oklahoma. He's got his own polish. He's got a jig that takes tanks down. He does the backside and top side of tanks.
Oh.
He does all these show trucks." So I look him up on Instagram. 95% of that was a lie because he's not from Oklahoma.
I'm not from Oklahoma
He
at
does
all.
not have a jig that goes up on, and he had the whole thing like.
I don't take tanks off.
No, he explained how it worked too. Like it had like these 2 like deals on it, and it was like a 4-wheeler jack. The ones that go up that are square and have little bumpers on it.
Motorcycle jacks?
Yeah, and it just lifted up a little bit, and then you'd undo the straps, and then drop the tanks down, and you'd pull them out and do it, and then put it back up in there. And I'm like, he put a lot of thought in these stories. But so I get on Instagram and I find this guy, and this is no BS. And for you guys just starting out, it's not impossible. Like, I'm not trying to like do a whole freaking like all those guys do, like become your dreams. 'Cause it's not like I've accomplished anything. But that's what I said I wanted to do. And no BS. I literally started this with like 200 and some bucks when I started out. That's all I had, and I said that's what I want to do. I want to do show trucks. I want to do this stuff. I want to be in the magazine stuff. That's what I want to do. I'd never done polishing before, but I was like, if this guy, and my mentality was nothing against you. I didn't know you, but I was like,
telling you,
if this guy can do it, I know I can do it.
when polishers are trash talking me and they're like, "Oh my God, I polished your big customer," I'm like, perfect. Like, I can't get everybody done. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
And I'm not saying it's that easy because after I got into it, it's really not that easy. It would have taken me years, if I wouldn't have gotten
There are
hooked
polishers
up
that are only 3 years in, polishing some of the biggest names in the industry.
Yeah, but you also got to
Like
remember.
polish from movie trucks.
But you also got to remember. What I don't understand.
Listen, you sat in the middle.
You know,
You're gonna get it.
and I'm not trying to sound like gosh dang, we were just talking about him today, the quarterback that always complains he never made any money. He was in the movies. We were just talking about
Terry Bradshaw?
Terry Bradshaw. He always complains about how these new
Oh,
kids
yeah,
are making all this
NFL,
money,
yeah.
and he didn't make any
He
money and
made
all this
like
stuff. But it
$40,000
reminds me
back
of that because back then, Instagram was really new. To me, only girls had Instagram. Like that was the deal. It's like only women had Instagram.
Only kids had TikTok.
Exactly.
That
You know what I mean? And that was
true.
yeah. Guess who was famous in Florida? I was. Yeah. Who's laughing now?
Yeah, well, listen, Steve passed you.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna
I know.
say.
He
I'm
can-
not gonna drive it home.
Hey,
but Steve, like,
don't worry. I laid the foundation. If you guys want to build on it, that's great. That's fine. I'll just carry everyone on my back.
listen, you put like 2 bricks out front.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
And
I still
Steve
was
built
there.
the cathedral over
I'm still there. But anyways,
And they kicked your bricks out because you're banned till 2022.
no, that's just making money.
Yeah,
I can't make my 12 cents a day anymore on TikTok. So.
It's 12 cents a day.
12 cents a day. I can't make it anymore. They banned me. I was making too much money, obviously. So, dang it.
You were bankrupting him, really?
Yeah, I was bankrupt.
Bankrupted him.
12
cents at a time.
I'm like, and that was even in my whole appeal. I said that. I was like, oh my gosh, sorry for bankrupting you. Yeah, it was a big deal. And then right after that, they must not even read it. They're like, after reading your review, we're still whatever. I'm like, no, that's neat.
Neat.
Oh boy, now I'm not going to be able to feed my kids. But
Yeah.
no, but what I think
They're
is
12 fruities.
yeah, exactly. No, but what I'm getting at, which I didn't really have a part in it. I was a part of it. I can say that because I don't ever want to take credit for anything. Because in all reality, I wrote off your coattails. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Don't get me wrong. Like, I give myself credit. We still had to do the work. We still had to show up. We still had to go everywhere. We still had to do all that. But at the same time, you skyrocketed me instantly. I was already, once I got on board there, I was
right.
Yeah, I was already
Right,
up.
right.
I was up, and it was like a huge boost, But what I'll say is in those years I first got in, that was about 5 years ago, because I've been in this 6 years now. But 5 years ago, polishers started like becoming almost famous. You know what I mean? Like, and not saying that I'm like not trying to think that's, but that's how it kind of. But everything did. You know what I mean? Like everything started becoming really famous-ish.
So many people lost their head and forgot you're not famous.
He said we're polishers,
We're
dude.
pretty famous.
You know what I mean? We
We're
polish
pretty
trucks, seriously. And it's crazy on.
Zach's famous. I bet people were sleeping in his bunk. He's like, you want to come play Xbox with me?
Actually, he did.
He's
He asked me
polisher.
he actually asked me to come play Xbox.
It's pretty famous.
But he wanted me to ride with him in the parade
You
too.
did.
I didn't. I should have. I don't know why I
You
didn't.
should have.
You need to stop being so humble.
I knew.
You guys are famous.
I know.
How many people come up and they're like, I want your autograph. Oh my God, that's Evan. I'm like,
It's a
he's a
lot.
clown.
I almost got tackled the other week at a gas station in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, that's right. You told me that.
We were on our way home from the Nebraska Truck Show. Middle of nowhere, somewhere in Minnesota. I don't even know where I was.
Yeah, it's all the middle of nowhere.
I had no idea where I was in Minnesota, and we stopped because I literally had to go to the bathroom so bad I couldn't hold it anymore. Ran in, lady's like, you have to buy something. I'm like, I will buy something the second I get out. She's like, you have to buy something. I'm like, listen, either I'm going on your floor or you're gonna let me go in the bathroom. It's like, okay, but you gotta buy something when you come back out. I'm like, okay. She'd give my wife or the kids the same treatment. I was the only one that had to buy something.
You were suspicious.
I guess.
Dude, you got tattoos on. You're probably a drug dealer.
Yeah, might be the tattoos. I guess.
Guaranteed. Run to the bathroom. Need your
Definitely
fix.
felon. He's probably a thief.
Definitely.
So I come out and I buy a thing of Sprees or something. I walk out in the parking lot and all I got is this roll of Sprees in my hand.
I bet when you brought that up to the deal, she's like,
That's it. Thanks.
"That's
I
it."
have to clean the toilet.
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
you.
Yeah, for your
For
purchase
For
and
for a dollar roll of Sprees.
So I walk out into the parking lot, and this pickup rolls up. Guy driving, girl in the passenger seat, and the girl is apparently a polisher. Name's Jessica or something, I think. She added me on Facebook. She had messaged me a few weeks prior on my Facebook business page. She's like, "You're Evan." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." I'm just standing there with a roll of Sprees in my hand.
You should have ninja'd her.
She's like, "Oh my God, can I take a picture with you?" I'm like, "Yes." Like, I don't care. That doesn't bother me at all. She's like, "Oh my God." She gets out of the car and she's just excited to see me. I was like, middle of nowhere, Minnesota. My wife's looking at me like, "Who is this?" Like,
Yeah, she's
what?
signing papers in there already.
Yeah. It was interesting.
It's crazy.
But I get that stuff in the middle of nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
I was out in...
You know who people aren't getting tackled for autographs? Me and Blake Wood.
Me.
Because we're not famous.
I tell you what.
You will at
though.
some point.
I want to clarify this too. People see how great it is when people know who you are, and I feel that's awesome to me. Living, like I said, off your coat. I know whatever you say. That's how I always feel because I didn't build this.
You did.
Yes, I had to do the work. Yes, I had to show up, and yes, I had to do all that. I have to
If you
give
slacked
myself
off,
credit.
it still wouldn't have been shit.
Yeah, exactly. But
I mean...
I feel so accomplished that what. But I feel so accomplished.
Listen,
Like
when he says what, he doesn't actually mean what. He heard it.
He's just taking a minute. Like, wait a minute.
but
It's like an old DOS computer.
Yeah.
It's like
had to reboot
process for a little bit.
I got 8,000 billion things going on in my head at one time.
It's like dial up. Beep, beep, beep.
But for people to know who you are in different countries is awesome and
It is.
in all this stuff. But at the same time, I see a lot of polishers.
Let that shit get to their head.
Just hold on, let me finish. They're pushing.
Damn it, I was hoping I was
I thought we were
finishing your
playing
sentence.
charades, right?
No, they're pushing so hard to get that attention,
Yeah.
which I understand that. That's your marketing and all that.
You can have it
But
all.
you also got to remember what comes with that attention.
Responsibility.
That and people trying to tear you down the whole time. You know what I mean?
They're always there.
Attacking you on little dumb things because this or that or whatever. I remember Nebraska guys, they're a bunch of bullies and they're trying to run these guys out of business and they have all this money of Evan backing them and that's all he's trying to do. And I'm like, I've never even called your customers. Like,
I'm not trying to run anybody
I'm
out
not
of
trying to
business.
do. I've never purposely called someone's customers
Me neither.
ever once and said, I want to come do your stuff.
Me neither.
Blah blah blah.
I don't cold call at all.
No,
Yeah.
never.
I never.
I don't even answer my phone.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I don't hot call.
Yeah, I'm like, and I know a lot of people get frustrated with that, and I hope a lot of people that get frustrated listen.
It's hard when you're super busy.
It's tough, and
It's
somehow
tough.
you do it. I don't know how you do it,
I've been
and
getting
hold
worse
yourself
because
together.
it's hard. It's hard. Like, you got 3 to 4 trucks you got to get done in that day, or sometimes 5
Yeah.
or 6 trucks you got to get done in that
Yeah.
day. And you still got to answer phone calls. And I still answer 95% of my text messages, Facebook messages, Instagram messages, YouTube comments. I respond to everybody as best I can, 95%. It is another full-time
Time job.
If I could find a kid
That'd be my assistant.
straight out of high school that wants to do social media
Yep.
and not make $100,000 a year, I would hire that kid on tomorrow.
Yeah, send your resume, evan@goshineon.com.
Send your resume to Evan at
Well, and
coachdown.com.
just to answer my phone calls and
I'm
schedule
not even
things for me.
joking. Like,
Not for real. I'll hire
Yeah.
you tomorrow.
I could seriously use
Sheesh.
somebody
They can
just
run my
to.
Instagram.
Somebody needs to run your
I'm
Instagram.
not doing it.
No, and I don't, and I think people get so frustrated, and they think that that we're just being jerks or dicks and this and that, or we're not doing them because they're not big enough and they don't have a show
So-
truck.
An average week is what?
Oh my
70, 80 hours?
god! Oh my god! Yeah, easy.
And then you throw phone calls and everything else.
Yeah.
I'm not whining
No,
because I'm grateful. That
No,
I'm in
no, I'm
this
very
position.
grateful.
Blessed, yeah.
But at the same time, like 70, 80 hours of work,
yeah,
getting black and tired,
Yeah.
Yeah.
go home, and while you're sitting there with your wife, my daughter sits in my lap watching
and
TV.
for us, we're 100% mobile.
And
I'm not even home, man.
I'm on the phone
You're driving home, yeah.
Yeah, I'm driving
Trying
home.
to schedule shit.
Hey,
Damn,
I'm driving
drive
home
it.
at 2 a.m.
Yep.
just to try to be home for a few hours so I can see my kids for a little bit.
Remember how we justified that first summer? We were on the road, and our wives never wanted us overnight, so we were like, "We'll be home every day. This is the best job." We were home every day.
We were home
It was
every
at
day.
like 3 and leaving at like 6.
Yeah.
But we were home every day.
Jeez, so stupid.
You can never hold that over our heads.
You know, and it drives me nuts because, and I understand people don't have patience because I don't have patience. When I want,
Blake's just sitting there like,
maybe this polishing.
Yeah.
Remember when I said I wanted to have my own shop and stuff?
Not so much.
No, and I love it too. And everyone's like, "You busy?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting 20, 30 phone calls a day, and this and that." And they're like, "That's such an awesome problem to have." It is an awesome problem to have, but what they don't understand is those guys I don't get back to or I can't get scheduled in. I'm the biggest jerk in the world.
Yeah.
Or I'm, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And this and that, and not only for me, if I blow someone off because I don't have the time, it's not that I don't want to do it. I don't have the time. I was just talking to you about it
we
today.
just talked
Now
about it today.
you got to deal with it, you know, and I'm like, it's not fair to you that you got to deal with it, and
I definitely field it better.
what?
I definitely handle it better.
You do a lot better, but that's why I said I don't know how you do it, because there's times where guys will call me repetitively, and what they don't understand, they'll do the same thing. So we're mobile, right?
Yep.
They know it's hard to get a hold of me. They know it's hard for us to get there. They know this stuff. So once we get there, let's say we're scheduled out 7-8 trucks for these guys.
Sure.
Once we get there, now it turns into 12 trucks.
Oh,
Because
everybody-
they know
always.
that they're not probably going to get us back, and their buddies are like, well, we can't get a hold of him, and he's going to be there.
And even worse is if you're really fast that first year you go there
Yep.
and you do 7 or 8,
Yep.
you're like, dude, these guys could easily if they
yeah.
just stay one more day.
Yep.
And then those last 4 guys that they call in are never great.
No,
And
they're-
it stretches out to a 4-day trip
And they're-
instead of 2-day
you know,
trip.
they're a loaded
Oh,
grain trailer, 100,000 pounds, and it's 2 in the morning.
Can't jack it up.
Yeah, no,
We
you got to
said
do
Parker
one
under
wheel
there.
at a damn
Remember
time.
that?
What?
I said Parker under there with that one loaded, that
Yeah.
Mac. He had to like step on the jack. Like he wanted that money though, so he did her.
Yeah, no, I mean, oh man, it gets, and everyone's like, I don't know why you're bitching, and this and that, and it's like, it's overwhelming. I wish I could afford to pay someone just to answer and schedule me. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
How much
a
you paying?
You want to?
Yeah.
He ain't.
Asking for a friend.
He ain't. You want to catch that camera again?
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's,
know though. It is a blessing. Like you remember back when we very first started, like 17, we
Oh,
were sitting
no.
at your house just hanging out. Waiting
yeah,
for the phone
no,
to
I
ring.
mean,
Like,
when I very, very first started, I remember when I first ever started, there was this guy telling me, he gave me all this work, and then I went to his shop, and I was like, well, how many trucks do these polishers do yearly? And he's like, 15, 20. I started doing the math, about $500-$600 a truck. I'm like, why would I do this, Well, then it turns into like 15, 20 a week, and I never saw that coming. And I'm blessed to be able to produce that much, and do that kind of work. It'll kill you. I mean,
It'll consume you.
and it will. It'll take everything. I know you were talking on Blake's interview in the beginning. No birthdays, no anniversaries. Parker and I, we've sat in people's shop on Thanksgiving, having Thanksgiving with ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. That night we had Thanksgiving because we were working. Memorial Day weekend, all those times. The only holidays I have not worked is the 4th of July. I'm a big one on that.
Yeah.
And Christmas, because I know Caitlin would kill me. That's huge for her.
I just started 4th of July.
Yeah.
Since you've been here. Because you were like, listen, I don't work 4th of
I
July.
don't.
No.
And
I
I'm
didn't
like,
when I was self-employed either. Like, I need you on Thanksgiving. Well, find somebody else.
Yeah. No, I we worked all those. Was it worth it? Maybe. I don't know. I look back at it and I don't really have any regrets of what we did. But like you said, how many, my kids' birthdays are all in the springtime. I've never, I think, what was it, 2 years ago it was last year, was my first birthday ever. And I had a customer call me. Actually, I never did work for him. On the birthday, he called me 6 times in a row. And then I answer, and then he asks me if I'm any good at polishing. So then I start naming off. I was a jerk about it. I started naming off every big guy I've ever done work for.
And he's like, I don't know any of them.
Yep. And he goes, I've never heard of them. And I go, that's fine. They've never heard of you either. and then he proceeded to drill me for like, I go, and when I answered, he goes, oh, I'm sorry. Are you busy? I go, yes, I'm at my son's birthday party. Oh, I'm sorry. And then he just goes right into what he needs done. That's all. You know, when I understand owning a business, it never ends. You can never hide from it.
This is a different type of business than most other businesses.
It is.
Like, it's a very personal relationship with the people you're doing work for. And it's not just like a mechanic shop where it's... Most people do become loyal to the
You just can't shut the door and leave. You
know?
Yeah. That's another thing I love is, like a mechanic shop. Well, it's 5 o'clock, dude. Sorry. You know, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow. It doesn't work that way.
No.
You know what I mean? It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, your truck still runs and they're moving tomorrow.
That's the thing.
So either you get it done or you're just not.
Yeah, that's the deal. And you better get it done, especially with social media now, because it will tear you apart.
Oh,
you know?
You don't have a business coming to you.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's another thing, you know. And doing work for guys, especially older generation, they get kind of weirded out, us being at their shops. And I don't want to be a jerk, but
they've been through the shit polisher.
Yeah, they have. They've had stuff stolen, and I go, honestly, sir, with social media now, if I stole, let's say I sold
We've seen it.
Yeah, I stole it.
We've seen polishers steal stuff.
No, I know they have.
People blew them up on social media.
Yeah, and that's what gets me is I'm like, do I look that stupid? I know you have, right here alone, $3,000 worth of work. That's every year, sometimes twice a year, so that's $6,000.
Yeah.
And then if I add that up over many years, I mean, why would I throw that away over $100 worth of your stuff?
Not worth it.
And don't get me wrong, maybe back in the old days I could get away with it in that area because
stuff?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you could get away with it because without social media, you're not blowing up all over the world, you know, like you are now.
Back when it was just MySpace,
you had to be a computer programmer. But I was like, you know, and you try to explain to me, like, trust me, I don't need whatever you have.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather have $6,000 a year or $3,000 a year than $100 worth of your crap.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, and I understand they're worried. They've had tweakers in there, and people steal from them before.
They paid them up front. They disappear.
Yep. Yeah, they give them like you said, they pay them cash up front, and then they never show up. What?
Then you get materials. That's my favorite line.
Yeah.
Well, you had to go buy sandpaper. Like, no, we didn't.
Yeah.
You bought something, but it wasn't sandpaper.
You know,
do you request deposits on anything?
You know, that's a great question. No.
I don't either.
I wish we would sometimes because we've been burnt on some big ones. We've had some guys schedule like dump trailers 3 days worth and then just no call, no show. And it's like, all right, well, a day of work in my shop is $1,500 to $2,000. We shoot for $1,500 every day. So when you skip out on 3 days and I no notice, that's rough. Because then, I can probably call and schedule some work tomorrow or the day after.
Maybe, yeah.
If I'm lucky.
Yep.
But today, I'm done.
Yeah, you're going to call at 8 and be like, can you be here at 8:30?
Yeah.
No. Actually, believe it or not, if you really wanted to, you probably could.
That's true.
But I mean...
That's what I mean. Is like we got a local dump truck company.
Yeah.
We do
a lot.
We had 3 cancellations that were back to back to back. And it was a dump trailer, right? No. What was it? It was a big job. Oh, a trailer beam.
A beam, yeah. A raw one, yeah.
Yeah, a raw trailer beam. We had it on the schedule
those
for
are
2
the best.
days.
Yeah,
I bet you guys were so excited too.
I was
super bummed.
I was super excited when they canceled.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I bet you guys are so excited that
Not bad.
he was there. Like,
So we just called my local dump truck company and literally I was like, whatever you want to send us, we'll get it done.
Yeah.
And he just kept us busy for 2 days. And that was right when Steve was here.
Yeah, because
Otherwise, we'd have had nothing to do.
Yeah.
But we just banged out as many trucks as we could.
Still made ours weekly. So.
And another thing I want to get similar topic because you hit it on his podcast. You know, guys will see us at our customers' Instagram, whatever else, or whatever it may, some social media platform. There's 8 billion of them out there. You know, with everything.
Grinder.
Yeah, grinder. No, I didn't use a grinder. I used a 3500.
Oh.
But anyways, they'll see us, you know, at these places. I'm going to use an example because I love these guys and they wouldn't be mad. Jesse Guys, I'm there all the time. Everybody sees that. I mean, I'm always at his place all the time. He's an extremely good customer, extremely treats us amazing. I love him. They're great, great people. But then guys with one truck will get upset who have never done work for ever. And I finally get a day off or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And they're so mad at me because I won't sacrifice that now for them. And it's like, you know what? These guys, you know, they keep food on my table every day. I don't want to be a jerk, you know?
Yeah.
And I've never met you, you know, and what if you use me one time and never call me again?
Which usually is. Almost.
Yeah, and that's how it usually goes.
Yeah.
If they're that adamant and they want you that, usually that means
their polisher didn't show up.
yeah, or they're not the best customer in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not always, but I mean,
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
yeah. And
I feel like that is the case sometimes.
I
It's
think
just
it's a general rule.
they're
honestly.
pretty tough to deal with.
yeah,
And I'm really lucky. We have a really good customer
We do.
base. It does seem like a lot of our new guys have been the majority of our issues
Always.
because some guys come in with just different understanding of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Guys will bring turds in and want a show truck polish.
we deal with that all the time.
And it's like,
All the time.
dude, the show trucks, these guys have been coming to me for years.
Yeah,
And they get them done 6 times a year.
yeah. They don't
6
understand
times
the
a year.
repetitiveness and actually washing and taking care of it.
Yeah, that's
Plus,
it.
all the money it costs them for that truck to look that good all the time. They don't realize that.
They're like, one sand and polish is not going to fix this
No.
sometimes. Like, can it? Sure. But it's going to take me 2 days and it's $400 to $500. Like,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not going to sit and work on this truck for 2 days for $4,500.
Yeah.
And you're not going to want to pay $4,500 for 2 days worth of work to get it up to that level. Then we had one the other week. We knocked out a truck. Dude was happier than hell when he left. Left a nasty message on one of my TikToks.
The truck looked good too.
Yeah, it looked damn good. Left a nasty message on one of my TikToks. He's like, yeah, Evan and his crew are capable of doing good work. It looked like good work in the shop, but now that I got to thinking about it, it would have looked better if they just sanded it.
Even when he told us no sanded.
Yeah. We asked him, do you want anything sanded? Nope. Do you want the treads done? Nope, it's not a show truck. Okay. So I thought it looked freaking amazing for what it was.
Yeah.
Food truck.
Oh, it looked
Looked
great.
great. And it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Like,
The problem with that customer is because he polishes on his own too.
well, that's
So that's the problem.
that's
When you don't
it.
have a budget or time frame, yeah, sure do it all.
And he had another polisher that was
Mm-hmm.
dicking him around all year. So it was like he was already mad at his regular polisher. And I think he was going to use us to try and ram one home. And
That one was doomed for failure from the
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, I need to start filtering that better on my end because it's like, I didn't need that.
Right.
And another point I want to make with all this too is I think it's so hard for people to believe when I tell them, and I don't want to sound like a jerk. It's so hard for me to bring on new customers, and they're just mind blown by that.
Yeah.
I'm not a tweaker in the parking lot polisher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Digging and waiting for
Yeah,
work.
just waiting and begging. You don't see me blowing up Instagram, Facebook. Hey guys, we need trucks. We need trucks. We need trucks. If that was the case, yes, you could be very upset with me.
And it's
Because-
not that I'm not hungry.
No.
It's just I don't want to piss off my regular guys. who need that
Exactly.
servicing.
I'm not the guys that have me there in the wintertime, whatever else, and on a regular twice. You know what I mean?
I've made that mistake a few times of
Yep.
pissing off some of my big
Yep.
customers because I was like, well, shit, I want to fill my schedule.
Right.
And I filled it. And then they were like, well, what about us? You ain't got time for us anymore. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh,
I forgot where you came from. That's all
I
I
got,
got.
like-
I got.
I got like 12 grand worth of business out of this guy every year.
Yeah.
And now that we can't get them done, I definitely didn't fill that hole that
Nope.
he usually took for
Yeah.
12 grand. Like I did maybe 6 grand worth of work. It's like, ooh, I better
Yeah.
restructure this a little bit. And guys get pissed off because it's like early in the season you call and we're booked 3 months out.
Yeah. No, that's trying to explain that to people, and they're like, "There's just no way."
They're like, how are you booked that
Yeah,
far
and-
out? I'm like, listen, every year the same guys book
Yeah.
the same weekends, the same weekdays every
I just
year.
got a phone call, and actually, it's 3 days off. Brian out of freaking
Yeah.
Nebraska. Usually, I'm there right before Waupun doing
Yep,
his stuff.
You are, yeah.
Well, he must have got busy. He just calls me as we're in Waupun. Right when you get home, I need you.
Yep.
You know, it's the same time all the time. They're on a schedule. It's
Yeah.
and
They get
people,
used to seeing you.
yeah, and I think people deal with these guys. I shouldn't call them all crackheads because they're not all crackheads. A lot of these guys that haven't really seen the other side. You're like,
Yeah.
they haven't seen
A lot of them.
the other
I
side.
want you to meet Joe Clementi sometime. Like, I know I brought his name up a number of times. He hates polishing, but polishing makes money. He is a businessman. Like, you have conversations with that man, and it blows your mind. It changes the way you look at business. Like, it's made me a better businessman just talking to him. And a lot of polishers are talented, and they're good polishers.
For sure.
I don't even care. A lot of the tweakers are even good polishers.
They are.
There's a lot of good polishers that are
we're the
tweakers.
best, yeah.
At the end of the day, very few of them are business people. Very few of them can actually run a functioning business because either they don't have a schedule or they don't plan accordingly or they don't have products and materials to fall back on. There's a lot of missing pieces. I'm really itching to do a podcast with Joe because I
Where's
really
he from?
want.
Where I guess
He's from Massachusetts.
Yeah, the East Coast.
I really want his story to get out there because he's unorthodox, to say the least, in the polishing world. Like, he doesn't really like polishing. And honestly, he built his business using an Aussie rim shine, something we all joke about.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
Is
he
he
built.
the guy that built that?
No, he bought he got in early with Aussie, saw a need in maintenance polishing.
Yes, that's what they're perfect for that.
That's exactly what they're
Because
perfect
he
for.
did
Perfect
buses, school buses.
School buses and stuff. He found a niche corner of the market for maintenance.
Yeah, word.
And he built a killer business
Why did
around
I
his
not do
Aussie
that?
rim shine. I know, right? And he figured out how to maintain it and maintain buses, and now he's gotten into trucks, and he bought a wheel machine from us so that he could do a little more so he could make his maintenance business even bigger. It's amazing to hear his story that he doesn't like to polish. But he does because it makes money, and it's a lucrative business, and there's plenty of work there all
Especially
the time.
out there.
And that's one thing I always try to tell people. I don't want to hear that you can't find a job or anything.
That's it.
Watch a bunch of videos, get into polishing. If you have a car and you'll
$1,000
show up,
Hell,
Not
a car
even
and $500.
$1,000, yeah.
a car and $500, I'm telling you right now, your phone will never stop ringing. As long as you show up and do decent work.
Yeah.
You don't have to
You don't
be.
even got to be great.
You don't have to be great. You just have to show up and
Yeah.
do decent
Most
work.
of the time, yeah. You
And,
can show up.
and even the
Get
truckers
it
will tell you
done.
that. We just want someone here, man.
Even if you're not great at cutting, you
Yeah.
can always hand polish
Hand
and just
polish.
make
Yeah.
it look decent.
Charge them half rates as hand polishing.
I legitimately built my business the first 6
Yep.
years just hand polishing using Blue Magic.
Oof.
And people were happy with it.
Better you than me.
I showed you the old
I
pictures.
know,
Like,
yeah.
I was not a good polisher.
The real Slim Shady was out there buffing.
Nuts.
The 8-inch wheels look like he's using metal.
Oh, I know. Friggin' 8-inch wheels.
It
that's
is though.
nice.
If you were smart about your money, you don't need $500. You
Well,
start honestly with $200.
That's what I started with.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's more to that story. It's not. I
Right.
mean, I had $200. I bought some stuff. I did already have a vehicle. You know
talk
what I
somebody
mean?
else into selling
Yeah.
their stuff. And
No, I didn't know you then. I can say the guy's name I got the power from. You're welcome, Chip. It involved the yellow stuff, and that was it.
So let's just say
And
like
some
Blake
lube.
started,
And
yeah.
some lube.
It'll
Works
cut everything,
great.
yeah.
Um,
Well, like say Blake started, say he just
Yeah.
started today, he's got a pickup. Well, you need a grinder, that's $129, and you need a bar rouge and a butt.
what'd you start with?
A DeWalt, just one sander, a Craftsman orbital,
mhm.
and one orange, one brown, and one green yellow.
Can I stop him there? That is the number one worst issue of beginning polishers. They don't understand, and you had to tell me, and me being a Jew, I think you know where this is going.
I do. I already know what it is headed.
People buying $25 freaking sanders, and you have
What brand was your sander?
Is a Craftsman.
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 Yeah, I think
oh my God.
mine was a
pattern on that
yeah,
thing is
yeah,
like
mine
this
was
big.
I'm pretty sure mine was a Craftsman too. And of course, you get the pigtails like this, like it's a whole tank, and you're trying to cut them out.
You know, Craftsman's great for woodworking.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Great.
And that's I
You were
guarantee.
cutting your sandpaper into squares.
Yeah, yeah.
Or rolling the corners over the edge.
It's ridiculous, and
And what was the grinder you were using?
It was a DeWalt 3500.
A DeWalt 3500.
Well, that's
So
a good choice.
that's not a terrible choice.
at least you had a decent.
Yeah, decent, right? I
It's a good start.
I started out with I had probably a Craftsman or something crappy like that, freaking palm sander.
Hitachi.
And I had a Hitachi grinder because I could go to Menards and get one of those cheaper.
That was the first grinder I remember you telling me you
Yep.
had. It was a Hitachi.
And I
got a Hitachi. I'm like, throw that thing in the
We
trash.
love those.
We loved them for a long
These are
time.
hell
Remember
out
how
of
great we thought they were until we went and got me.
Yeah, we're like,
Oh my gosh, where have these been my whole
we
life?
use Harbor Freight variables.
Yeah, Harbor Freight
And then
variables.
we got those DeWalt's. We're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Harbor Freight variables because they were so cheap.
$27.99.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it'll work. It'll
Shit,
work.
work for us for like a year.
It'll get you by. But you really the biggest one you can't stress the most out of is that palm sander. That is a lifesaver. Spend $80, man. Like
It's not even that. I think the
70s.
I think
I
the
think like
Makita ones are like
69,
69.
I don't know, but that's still a lot of money if you ask me for.
That is
palm
not-
sander.
That's a hotel room.
It is a hotel room.
You
You
know,
know, that's
spend
a
the night,
good
you wanna
night's
say
sleep in a crack tell. And actually, that's a friggin'
We
that's
don't
like
really burn through our sanders though. You know
no,
what I mean?
no.
So,
I've
like,
had mine for almost 5 years. No,
$70. It's a good investment.
no, it is. The one thing I had to change, and actually, remember, I ended up. Someone swapped out because remember I went out and spent expensive money on a I don't remember what brand it is. It's a Menards brand, and it was actually an expensive one. I even called you, and you're like, Zach, I'm sure it's great, but you need trust me. This is what works, And I spent the same money, I should have just went and bought a Makita.
Well, Menards is in town.
Yeah, Menards. We couldn't go buy Makita, right at the
Sure.
Menards is all we had. But I remember somebody swapped me out for a Makita.
I do remember that.
Remember that?
We got home, we're like, what happened here?
Yeah, and John, I'm not using names, but anyways, they're like, no, I didn't end up. I'm like, well, I ended up with this damn
Yeah.
sander, and someone took, and I was pissed.
Yeah.
I remember being pissed because that thing was like brand new, and I ended up with this, and I don't even know how old it is. I still use it to this day. That was 5 years ago, or over 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The only thing, and I don't even know how old it was then. It's probably 2 or 3 years old then. It's probably 8 years old.
Probably, yeah.
And the only thing I've had to do, and I made a video about it, is right below the pad, there's a bearing down there.
Yeah.
And that went out, and I went straight down to Napa, and I bought that bearing for like $12, and I put it in there. We still use it to this day. Yeah, I mean, they last forever.
That's wild.
Yeah. If you want to know how to fix anything, I fix grinders, I fix everything. I remember one truck.
Literally, I watched you wash one.
I did.
Yeah,
You guys thought I was joking. I really do that. Like, everyone thought that was a joke.
What'd you put in it to clean it off?
Dawn dish soap, dude. That's all I ever use.
And water.
And water.
You see
Okay,
that video? It's like a
Yeah.
tub.
Yeah.
and I'm going to tell you why I did that. So when I was a young kid, I used to hang out with, his dad was a computer guy. And I remember walking into his computer room. He had this tub with soapy water in it. And I'm like, whoa, like computers and a huge tub of soapy water. That just made no sense. And he goes, no, I wash all my keyboards. I wash everything with this. And I'm like, and even then as a kid, I already knew if you put electronics in the water, it ruins them.
Yeah.
And he told me, he goes, no, you can do it as long as you instantly dry it out and you do not plug it in while there's moisture in it, you'll have no issue. So I don't recommend anyone doing what I did because it's a long time consuming deal and I don't think it really did anything better. Besides made them very, very clean. Because I bet it took me over an hour each one of them.
To
Because
dry them out.
yeah, because I had to sit and dry them out.
Yeah.
I'd sit there with an air hose and just repetitively blow them out.
Clean out the electronics.
Everything. And they still work, but was it worth it? Probably not at all.
No, not even.
But it made me feel better, I guess, that I was actually doing something that day. Productive. But,
I sprayed some brake clean on mine and cleaned it up.
does that work?
Probably pretty bad for the paint on it.
We used to use dielectric cleaner or whatever it is.
Oh, on the inside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it
Electric
work?
parts cleaner? It does.
Electric
Pain in
parts
the
cleaner.
ass.
Yeah.
I
But
just
it does.
assume dump them in a tub of water. You gotta sit there and scrub it, spray it. Nah, just run until they quit. Buy a new one.
No,
You're not wrong.
You know?
honestly, all you need is a soldering gun, bud, and some solder. You can get them babies back working.
No, whole tote full upstairs you can fix.
Yeah.
I already asked if I can have them hogs, and you're like,
No.
no, use
Said you can fix them.
No, you can
But
fix them while you're here.
I'll pay you for your time fixing.
All I need is a $10 solder pin and some cheap solder, and I can have them back going
Those
again.
coils.
Yep, and that's all it is, because those coils get hot on there, and they hot, cold, and they'll bust, and all we do is take that wire and go directly to it, and That's how we run them. We've never had an
did
issue.
that to 2 this week, so
Yeah,
you
we've
got 2
never
Literally
had.
show us how to do it. I'll let you fix them all. I'll
Yeah.
start paying you per grinder.
All right,
That's
knock
the
some
deal.
bodies off.
That's the deal right there.
Fix some grinders.
Yeah, because Makita tells me it's not fixable.
There's some
BS. I'll freaking do it.
As soon as the coil's gone, they tell me they can't fix it.
You know the funny thing
without
is,
replacing the whole entire hub.
I'll tell them right now, and I'm sure that they have a better scientific answer. After I did that the first time, my grinders run more powerful than they ever
I'm sure
did.
they do.
They run way better because it's direct. It's direct now. It's not. It doesn't have to go through a coil deal anymore. It's direct, and I don't know the life expectancy of it, but we still use them every day. You know, and that's another thing I want to touch on because actually I was talking to you about it. I could never figure out, and I'm sure you've told me 100 times, but you know how well I listen. I don't listen to anything.
What?
Yeah, exactly. I just could never figure out. I'm like, why is it we go to Evans? Because we sand so much, and you've got on me about that, and I'm like, man, I got to. But I never, I guess, use this argument and why we do it. I just never thought of it that way. When I came here, it all clicked.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm sure you've said it a billion times to me, and this is why I clicked. Power.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're on the road so much, our powers fluctuate so much.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes we don't have, we have crap power, or we might have amazing power.
That's why I've got those really thick cords.
Exactly.
That's why I run really strong outlets in
Yep.
the shop.
And that's when I noticed, I'm like, holy cow, this is how he's able to rip through these pores a lot better than us, because we're running, you know, that grinder's supposed to be running 6,000, or actually it's more than that. It's like, what, 6,200, 6,500, some 60, whatever it is. And I bet we're running at like 4 or 5 sometimes.
I was going to say, ours at 6,600 under load is 5,500.
Yeah. So, I mean, we might be running like, really, honestly, like 4,000, you know?
It's a really heavy variable.
Yeah.
That's all that
It
is.
pretty much is all it really is, and I never really realized why stuff turned out the way it did up here, and how you could get away with things, and then it all clicked the other day, and I'm like, it's his power. I'm like, but it's so hard for us because
That's why even my generators for the road, like I have the big ones.
yeah,
Because I don't want to lose power on the road either.
and people don't realize that you have to have them things running at full capacity for it to do what it's supposed to do. Even your sander, because I was talking to Parker about it too. I said, dude, I figured it out, man. And I said, I'm sure I haven't said it. And he goes, what? I goes, it's the power.
I tell you all the time, the little skinny cords you guys run, like you lose
We don't
power.
we don't run the real skinny ones anymore. We went up a little bit bigger, not as big as the ones you have.
Well, the big ones I have are overkill, but they're 100-foot cords.
You know
So,
how
like,
much those cords are right now?
Lots.
You better be stroking big checks,
The
boys.
100-footers, those big ones I have, were like $250 a piece.
They're more now because of COVID. Everything kind of went up.
Home Depot still has them at $250.
That's a lot of money.
They can keep them for $250.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though.
No.
I don't have any power loss. When
Yeah,
we're doing
and
trailer
that's
rails,
the thing.
None. No lag, no nothing. My air compressor kicks in, it doesn't bog out at all.
Yep.
Like it just.
We gotta take that back too, though, because we have good cords, good outlets, but like our line feed up here is better. And I've worked in both places, so like our incoming power is better at the shop. I feel like.
Yeah,
But,
no,
like, some of these truckers
and that's what
stuff have
sucks
their
for me
breakers
is
wired hot all the time. You're not going to trip them. The line feed sucks. Though,
well, and that's the thing is it doesn't matter even if I had cords this big.
Yeah,
I'm still not getting the power.
Yeah.
You know, and it sucks that way. But
You can buy a really good generator too, though.
that's the only thing is I'd have to buy a really good generator and tote
You
that
buy the
around
freight
everywhere.
ones, and
Yeah.
I buy the $1,200 DeWalt ones.
Speaking of job, remember that year we bought 4 generators?
Yeah, I made you travel like an hour away to buy.
It's just down the road. Go pick it up. Yeah, an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, they
my
burned up.
Lord. We
We
burned
had
up
them strapped to the
grinders.
roof from the little tailgate.
Yeah, that was
nice.
awesome, dude.
That was a real big win.
No, but just noticing your sander, because even Parker said something, he goes, dude, did you notice he goes, that makes sense. He goes, did you notice his sanders, they don't stop? Like when you put pressure on them, usually ours will sit there and kind of vibrate, you know what I mean? And they don't sit there and just keep spinning, because a lot of times we don't have the power. You start putting pressure, especially doing a rim. You put pressure down and you're spinning that rim, you know, and it'll just sit there and vibrate, and it's not doing what it needs to do.
It's back to the point though.
Mhm.
Like, what did you spend to start?
Oh yeah, hey. Blake's like, I've just been waiting.
Welcome to Zach. This is how it goes.
Poor Blake. He's
Goes-
like, I've had this story for an hour.
Well, what he's saying, I noticed that today too, because I run up like a 4,500 RPM.
I told you I've got
4,500.
good topics.
Yeah. The 4,500 Harbor Freight generator, and I used the big 6,000 on y'all's power. I was like, holy crap! I don't have as much power as he has on that one than I do on mine.
Squeeze the trigger's like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, you're like, Jesus, this thing hooked to 220?
Yeah.
I do have an outlet hooked at 220 if you
I
want
know.
to give that a shot.
No, I already have.
I know you
Remember?
have.
I burned up a grinder.
Yeah, I know you did.
Because
He's
you're like,
like,
yeah,
supposed
plug
to
it
be
in.
smoking.
Yeah, you're like, plug it into there. And I'm like, wham! I was like, whoa.
You asked Brady. What are you
Yeah.
supposed to do? He's like, I don't know, man. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there next to you, and the whole grinder starts smoking. And I was like, what the hell? I'm like, well, it's plugged into there. And he's like, that's 220. I'm like, that'd make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That baby was moving.
Running 12,000 RPM
Yes.
on a 9-inch grinder.
Broken.
That's good, though.
It worked great.
Yeah.
But anyways, to go back to what you're saying, yeah, it's nice when you have nice power, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it works so much better.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Yeah.
Because mine got hot, but yours always get hot pretty quick. The head does, it feels like.
They get run pretty
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we run ours hard.
I tell you what, though, their heads might get hot
Mhm.
quicker, but their bodies, I know it
Yeah.
sounds stupid, your bodies don't get hot as quick. I think it's just, because you're actually spinning. In that grease now, I've noticed,
Junk.
it's junk. It's garbage.
The new stuff that comes in them?
Yeah, garbage.
I feel like it's even the design change, because even when you change them with good grease, they still get hot like the next
I
day.
Not as bad.
Yeah, they don't like burn your finger, but now it just like singes your finger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing. I hold the head so much,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any feeling in my right
Gone.
hand. No, and Caitlin always, and I'll have to ask Caitlin. Seriously, when we're,
Listen, we can't go down that road. This podcast can't go that
no,
far.
when we're cooking.
Oh, when
When
you're
we're cooking, I'll grab
That's what
things
they call it now.
and I'll put it down, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be hot. So then I'll ask Caitlin, no bullshit, or my boys. I'll be like, hey, touch this. Is that hot? And they're like, boost, burn themselves. And I'm like, I just had that in my hand.
Meanwhile,
And I'm just carrying things around. It's just burn it, and it's wild. How you can lose your feeling in your hand like that,
Because my first 6,000 RPM I had, it gets hot, but not like terrible where you can't hold it. But this brand new one I got, within 5 minutes you can't even hold the head.
Horrible.
Yeah.
The plastic little cone deals in them now, I noticed on yours, because I haven't
They're
bought a
all
new one for
melted.
it. They're junk.
Yeah.
They're
I'm
junk.
telling you, nobody makes a grinder for our industry.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit about our industry.
There's one, but it's
No.
for a cotton wheel. It's the
Yeah.
polisher.
Yeah.
But it only runs 1,800 RPM. You know
for
what I
a
mean?
Cotton wheel.
That's what I'm saying. We can't. It'd take you 6 days to do a truck.
And I wish some company, Makita, if you're listening to this, I know
They're
you
not.
guys don't,
Yeah, so they're not.
but if you did, seriously, the industry has grown enough that we should get something sooner or later. Like
The battery's
Stop it
blinking.
again.
on that one or the back one.
The back one. Should we just do another quick one real quick?
Yeah, how bad is it?
It's recording. It's red.
Oh, it's recording?
Yeah, I didn't even know it
let's
was
get her
recording.
done. We'll finish this up.
Was I not recording before?
Didn't you push it when you got
Yeah,
it?
I think I hit it
Pushed
twice.
again. you better have.
Mm.
I guess we'll redo it
Was that
tomorrow.
Is that you?
Yeah. But like I said, all those things take time to learn.
What was the end thing you just said?
Talking about saving Rouge Nuggets.
Oh, saving the Rouge
Yeah.
Nuggets. That's one thing I wish more people would listen to me. Like, when you get the Rouge down to that last fist size, like, can't quite grab around it, you waste more trying to use that
Yep.
last little bit. Like, you're just
but
spraying it all on the floor.
I don't know.
I
Getting
know
up to
that.
go get more rouge.
Agree.
Or sit on my chair and keep going.
I'll use them down to like.
Yeah, well, sometimes I'll get, like, I'm burning my fingernails. Like, I just don't want to get up right now, and there's not a hand running around anywhere. Like, hey, grab me a bar of rouge. So, like, yeah, we'll just hold her
I
out.
was using one the other day. It was probably a quarter bar already, but Kavan, him, he's cleaning. I was like, give me back my green bar. Yeah, you can't use it. It's gonna hurt your finger. I'm like, come on, I'm gonna run them down to the Nuggets.
Oh god, if you go in the wheel rooms,
Oh yeah,
oh
it's
god,
full of 3/4 bars.
I grab 3/4 bars out of there all the time.
What
I'm
are you
like,
guys doing? I can't get my hand that close to the butt. Easy can.
I'm like, dude, I run them on the wheel machine down to like nugs.
Oh yeah, I do too. Until I accidentally let go, and then it's like,
Yeah.
time for a new bar. Starts catching your finger when you rouge it, and you're like, oh, that felt good.
Yeah, your fingernail gets real shiny.
Yeah.
And then you look at it, you're like, wow, that could have been bad.
Completely glossed over.
Missed that one.
Yeah. Well, boys, it's been fun.
Mhm.
But we got work in the morning.
5 hours, actually, it just so happens.
5 hours?
Yeah. It's a pretty sweet deal.
Well, dude, that's actually not bad.
It's not good.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. But I mean, it's
Yeah, we can keep going.
Listen, I'm good.
We can talk for another couple hours, probably.
We could do this another night.
Dude, I only told like one story too.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Maybe
man,
two.
I got bunches of
Yeah,
stories.
so we got all kinds of stories.
I think we need to save it for another one. Let's see how this one does. And if
so
people,
next year we'll pun when Zach makes it
Yeah.
back. Oh, okay. One story a year.
Yeah, one
Jeez.
story a year. Jesus! I hope we're alive for another 100 years.
I'm gonna die of Alzheimer's. I'll forget stories before I can tell them.
the metal podcast will give us all Alzheimer's
Yeah.
before we hear all the rest of
Like,
Zach's
yeah, it's
stories.
time for a pun again. He's like, I done forgot everything I did, so alright.